this is Tremelo Nights, and it's the live version, so everybody better get out of their seats. And they better start celebrating because this is going to be monumental. The only problem is I've been pretty ill all week. But I tried to clear all this gunk out of me, right, before I started doing this, so I didn't have to be coughing and spluttering. I didn't want anybody to catch anything either. But I don't have to worry about that, I'm pretty sure, because I don't think there's anybody going to actually watch this. So, yeah, I cough and I'll spit and I'll blow the whole bloody roof off. You know, it's from the depths of a serious illness, all these thoughts that I've been having. So it's so super sexual that I don't even know if it's going to come off as quite like I think it will do. But it is. What am I trying to say? It's just upsetting, really, when you're that ill, because you want to be out there conquering shit, and like I've been saying for these past 6 months, I've been putting on mass at a crazy, alarming rate. The sort of mass gain that doctors have been telling me that I should slow down. All right. I had the testosterone results. I've been going to the doctors. I've had multiple medical professionals tell me that I'm doing such a good job at acquiring muscle, raw, fibrous, delicious, carnivorous muscle. They've all been saying, listen, you need to just scale it back a little bit because you're going to die. But obviously, we all want to kind of die a little bit, don't we? So I've been ramping it up at 100%, maybe even 110%, but don't tell my nurse practitioner that. And yeah, basically that's all been worthless because I've lost 5 kg of weight this past week, and I could probably put what I've eaten on a plate, and it wouldn't look that much, and it probably wouldn't even fill it up because this has been one of those illnesses where it's just locked down, and let's not even think about making stuff. I've just been drinking. I've been a liquid diet boy this past week, and I was going to start dieting after this week, or really, I probably was going to do it start of this week. So it has kind of worked out all right, but the only thing where you're not eating, the only thing when you're not eating is you're not losing just fat, are you, ladies and gentlemen? You're losing raw horsepower at the same time, and that's not what I want to do. I want to be losing just fat and as minimal amounts of that gold red stuff that goes on the shoulders. Do you know what I mean? So it's been really upsetting, to be honest. And after day one, it was kind of just a bit of a thing of saying, listen, I hope I do die. And it's all been worthless. Going to the gym. I probably should have just not gone and gambled. I should have just sent my money across to some Nigerian boy and have him buy a load of new Nikes, because the 6 hours buy a load of new Nike a week that I've wasted has been completely fruitless. And I know what you're saying. Hey, listen, look at those shoulders, brother. Hey, man, we could all do better. I think that's what I'm trying to take away from this little experience of mine. But it was a real brutal, just a real brutal week. And I've had some high points. It gave me a little bit of time to brush up on my Mongolian Empire knowledge. So I watched and listened to Hardcore History, Dan Carlin, which is super cool. And I've been learning about Genghis Khan. And you see, a lot of you losers will call him Genghis Khan because you're losers and you're uneducated. But I'm actually really educated, and the one thing I'm not is a loser. So I call him Genghis Khan. And yeah, I've just been kind of learning about Genghis. And the weird thing about me, I'm like hearing about this guy that plundered all of East Asia, got into the Middle East and even parts of Europe, and, they pillaged, they raped, and they really didn't give anyone an easy time of it. And, I'm hearing it and I'm thinking, I think this guy'd like I think this guy'd like the cut of my jib. Basically, I think I'd get on with him. Is he an evil guy? I don't know, maybe, but I'm a pretty kooky guy when it comes down to it. So if you put me on a horseback with a bow and arrow and 3 pints of blood, I could see myself taking over the Tartars, or maybe throwing a raid onto Baghdad. What else have you been doing while you've been throwing up every day, coughing, and passing out from time to time? Well, I'm trying to see here. I don't know. It was a bit of a miscalculation on my part, to be honest, because I'm someone that it tells everyone that I'm indestructible, and this little illness that I've had has been very bad for my public image. So when people look at me, I want them to think this is a strong leader. This is someone that cannot be faulted and will not be torn down. And when they see you and you're dripping in sweat and you're like shaking like this, it's just not really something that children look at parents and go, "Oh my God, he's great." Old people, see you and offer you a tissue. But like I was saying, I was still going to work and stuff. And a few people said to me, they were like, "God, man, you look like you're struggling." And I was like, "Yeah, do you reckon? What gave that away? Is it that I smell like I haven't washed, or that I've got vomit all down my shirt, or, that I've come onto you a couple of times because I'm a little bit gay now?" It got so bad with my illness that I was just being shitting so much. Kind of changed from just throwing up and coughing to shitting. And I had such bad shits. I was looking at them after I was doing them, and when they start off black, I'm just sat scratching my head, looking at the toilet bowl, like I'm not even eating anything that's black. I stopped eating dirt 3 weeks ago, and I had a cement in 2 days. So how the fuck is it black? Is that something that my body's doing to it? And it's plastered all over the fucking bowl, and then I've got to go and get on my hands and knees and throw up down the thing in a couple of fucking minutes after I've come to terms with it. But you start having those shits as well, which I was having, where they're just like snot, and it's the most disgusting thing in the world. I'm like shitting, and it's like sounds like I'm blowing my nose, and I don't even know how it's got there. It's like my body is just going, "Oh shit, we've got to start getting rid of internal, core memories from his brain because we've got nothing left." So, I'm having a shit and I'm looking in the toilet bowl. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's my 5th birthday. Damn. Oh, there we go. That's just that's punctuation." And I'm getting off the toilet. That's stupider, ladies and gentlemen. I'm I'm a retard now, and it's not very good. I'm sat here and I like to keep flowers in my living room because flowers are beautiful, and they're all dead because I've not been to the shop for nearly 2 weeks now. So they're all just black, and it's a very somber mood in here. I know it might look great, but it really isn't. I'm kind of hoping that I do die. That'll kind of make it interesting. Boy streams to 0 viewers and ends up dying would be a great title for the BBC article or something like that. This is pathetic. There's nothing more pathetic than streaming to 0 people. But what I've been writing down really this week has been real fruitful shit, because I was thinking, hey, I've transported myself back to being a kid, and I remember being ill when I was a kid. When you have those dreams where you just kind of think my parents don't like me, you know. I had a dream so bad one day, well, one night when I was a kid, I stopped talking to a friend I had at school for like 2 years because this nightmare I had, you know, he had a crisp for a head, and I couldn't look at him the same for years because of what happened in this dream. It was such a just a disgusting phenomenon. But that's how it be sometimes. And you know, I've been evaluating my personality and looking at things from growing up, you know, and you know, this is even more pathetic. You know, more pathetic than you know, streaming to 0 people is you know, copying other people's opinions. Did anyone you ever used to do that? Hey, that's crazy, isn't it? So I remember doing that. I actually have a, a distinct memory that I'll get to after I've a little bit of these limb sips, man. But I remember, you know, Spider-Man 1 is, you know, it came out and I saw it and I was like, fuck, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. And I remember talking to some kid in the playground, you know, while we're selling dope. I remember talking to him. I was like, "Hey, man, you seen Spider-Man?" And he was like, "Yeah, this was a cool guy. This was a cool kid by every metric in primary school. You know, he had spiky hair, and you know, all the chicks loved him, and the teachers, all the male teachers, really loved him. So this is someone that you wanted to be. So, you know, someone that you wanted to be around. So when you're a child, right, and even an adult, I think you think, how am I gonna feel this kid? You know, how am I gonna be inside him?" So I was like, "I'm just gonna copy him, man. That's the best thing to do, right?" So, you know, I'm talking to someone saying, "Hey, what's going on, bro?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was fucking shit. Spider-Man 1, little dude." You know, and I was sat on my hands and knees like, "Yeah, it was." And he's like, "Yeah, the creative direction that Sam Raimi, when was that his name? Sam Raimi? Something like that. Yeah, it was rubbish. And, you know, I didn't even think the plot really appreciated the sort of yeah, basically, yeah, basically, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna just go tell everyone what you just said and say it like it's my own." But that's a very pathetic thing to do, and it could really been the story of my whole life being a pathetic loser. But now I've got all this cum in my brain, you know. I can really look at it differently. And I remember another time when I was in school, and you know, this kid, another cool kid. That was just all bloody primary school was full of with these skinny, you know, abs, sweet hair, young men, and you know, this kid comes in, and I'm inside. I don't know what I was doing, but I was inside. You know, I keep saying this, but I really do hope I drop dead on live stream. It'll actually be so great that I just drop dead here, and then you know, the ambulances come pouring in. The medics, oh my god, what's he doing? You know, they're gonna look at this and then they're gonna go, "Oh, he's live streaming." They're gonna go, "Oh, Jesus Christ, he's masturbating on video." I hope people watched. It'd be less embarrassing if I was masturbating to 200 people, right, than sat here telling everyone how much of a retard I was back in school. But anyway, I'll carry on going. Anyway, this kid, right? He comes in, and he starts talking to me, and he's going, "Oh, I just bloody decked it all the way down here from the top pitch." And that's a lot of lingo. So if nobody gets that, listen, I'll explain it. Um, you know, I just decked it down here from the top pitch. I'm thinking that means he's just sprinted. Um, obviously, this is a cool kid, so again, I'm going to copy him. And the next kid comes in. They're just filtering on through all these kids, and this kid isn't a cool kid. This is somebody that you know socially. I'm probably, you know, maybe not too many points off. All right, but he's definitely in reach, and he's definitely going to think of me as somebody that is starting to ascend popularity wise. If I whip out this new bit of vocabulary that I've learned. Fucking hell. So I go, oh, yeah, man, I just decked it in here real quick. And yeah, here I am. But the trick is, right, when you're going to start copying what people say, you've got to actually know what they're saying. And you got to know what vocabulary actually means, because this decking it, listen, I don't know if anyone else is gay, but decking it means falling over, right? Not running quickly like a fucking dickhead. So, yeah, the kid just looked at me and he was like, you didn't just say that, did you? And I was like, yeah, like, decked it. Yeah, that's what I meant. I like fell in here quickly. And he was like, nah, you're about to be the most least unpopularist kid this school has ever seen, buddy. Growing up, I always liked Eminem, right? White Boy on the Block, Slim Shady. Well, I always used to listen to his songs. You know, when I was growing up, there wasn't any. There wasn't any. What wasn't there any of? There wasn't any like iTunes, and if there was, you had to buy individual music, so you couldn't just listen to it like on Spotify. So the best place to get it was like LimeWire and shit like that. So you know, if I wanted some tunes, it was my sister who was getting them for me, right? And my sister was a fucking bitch, so I wasn't getting in tunes, right? So I had to go on YouTube, and that's where I listened to most of my music, right? But the music was all like the clean version, and I never knew that. So you like listening to Eminem all your life, right? And then you finally get to secondary school where it's a clean slate. You can kind of go into secondary school and say, listen, I was a gay loser all through primary school. I was saying the wrong shit. My vocabulary was all weird, and you know, everyone thought I was a loser. Now it's going to be different, and if it's not different, I'm going to bring a gun into school. I'm going to make it different. I'm only joking, obviously, but yeah. So you know, I'm in secondary school. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to be the cool guy. I'm going to be the guy that listens to Eminem, and you know, I met another kid that was, you know, an avid listener of Eminem. But he had an older brother, not a bitch older sister. So he got all the explicit versions of Eminem. So when we're like listening to it together, you know, I'm like, you know, I actually found that the this is a real thing, by the way. I actually found the lyrics, right? And I put them both together, right? But my English teacher wanted to flunk me in junior high. Thanks a lot. Next semester, I'll be 35. I smacked him in his face with an eraser, chased him with a stapler, and told him to change the grade on the paper. That's a lovely, clean version of the lyric. That's all I knew. And then, you know, I'm rapping that, and my friend looks at me, and, you know, the real lyric is, my English teacher wanted to have sex with me in junior high. The only problem was my teacher was a guy. I smacked him in the face with an eraser, chased him with a stapler, stapled his nuts to a piece of paper. Right? So now, again, I've been tricked here, and I've looked, and I look like a stupid little loser. So I need to go back to the drawing board, all right, and start really trying to think of ways where I can be, you know, I can be someone that's there's nothing to be trifled with on a playground. And I was so scared of bullying, right? In secondary school. Yeah. So secondary school, right? Another little plan that I had was to you know, when our school was different, all right? It was split in between two sides. So you had year 7, 8, and 9 at the lower bit, which was a different school completely. And then you had the upper bit, right? So having gone through the whole system now, right? After doing 7 years, yeah, in HMP, you can, the first 3 years, right, where everyone's just 7, 8, and 9 in this lower school bit was like a zoo or like some sort of enclosure. No, I can't even explain it, but it was literally like walking in and there was like gunshots and shit and like people like swinging from the ceilings and like, you know, helicopters flying above with like army people like running in the school and shit. And then you went up to upper school and it was just completely different. It was like a retirement home, like people playing paddleball and like the same people. You're like, bro, I saw you put your balls in some kid's mouth 2 years ago. And now you're like fucking teaching a class on economics. So it was all sorts of different sorts of horrible things. So in my head, I was like, hey, I don't want to get bullied because, you know, you start off there in winter and the first winter we were there, it was like World War II. It was like the Nazis in Russia. They've not got the right equipment and there's freezing temperatures. So I'm there, right? And I've got a fucking vest on in school, and all these kids are like geared up. They've got like goggles on and shit, and there's like 2 feet of snow, and like the bell rings to go out to lunch, and it was, you know, I'm like writing notes to my parents like, I did love you guys, and I'm so sorry that I've disappointed you and being kicked to death by all the teenagers on a snow day, but I hope you can, you know, just my memory lives on and stuff. But that was what it was like. You go out at lunch and you get chased around by all these older kids, right? And they would just, you know, they would abuse you if they caught you, man. And it was a good rush. It was like fun. It was like, oh, you know, let's run away from them. But you know, I've still not seen one kid to this day. I don't know what happened to him. He just tripped up and well, then he's getting kicked and thrown on snow, piled. You know, everyone used to call it snowman. Brutal stuff, man. Nothing too Christmassy about it. So I thought, hey, what's the best scenario, right? I'm like Andrew Tate, ladies and gentlemen. I'm constantly thinking, how am I going to manipulate my way to the upper echelons of society? So the way that I thought was, hey, let's make friends with some kids that look like they know how to fucking, you know, fuck people up. You know. So the first kid, I literally saw him on the first day of school. I was like, "Oh, how are you doing?" You know, when you just like meet someone, and you're like, "Shit, that was pretty organic. I don't seem like a loser." You know, he had a skinhead and he had a full tracksuit on. I was like, "This kid looks like he gets abused at home, man. Maybe he can bring some of that, you know, some of that learning, some of that knowledge onto the schoolyard. And if anyone tries to pick on us, maybe he'll, you know, burn their house down or something, and they'll never do it again." But yeah, I was like talking to him and stuff, and then literally only a week later, it kind of turned out that he was like the most hated kid in the world. Like everybody fucking hated this kid. I was like almost shocked. And obviously I didn't stick up for him. Why the fuck would I do that? I was like, oh yeah, yeah. I was like telling him where he lives. Like, oh yeah, yeah. He gets home at this time. His mom's a fucking nurse. Yeah, do you know they abuse him? So obviously that wasn't going to work, was it? So I had to ditch that plan straight away. I had to find a new guy, right? Somebody that was outside the year, somebody that wasn't so easy to pull down. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring it up more. Like I'm gonna get some kid in the top year. My heart just stops now. I'll have such a good time in hell. But yeah, basically I was like, I'm gonna make friends with a cool kid in the top year. You know, I did that, and then every time he'd see me, he'd be like, "Yo, little man," and I'd come up to him and I'd be like, "Oh, have sex with me, have sex with me." And my friends that I was friends with at the time, you know, he still brings this up. He's like, "Oh yeah, do you remember that kid that you fucking made friends with to be cool?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah. Shut up, brokey. All right, I'm a billionaire. You haven't got that sort of, you know, you haven't got that sort of mindset." And that's what that separates me and what will separate me, guys, because like this week, right? I've been really ill. Everyone else is like, "Oh, I can't breathe. I can't eat. I'm just gonna lay in bed and you know, tell everyone that I love them." Me, I have 3 paracetamols, right? And I stop pacing up and down the room, and I'm thinking, right, how many heirlooms am I gonna stop ramming up my butt? Because I get in that sort of scarce mentality, right? I'm like that guy off of Pulp Fiction, right? the guy that was like, no, it's Christopher walking in it. Butch, I was with your daddy in that Hanoi pit of hell. I shoved this watch up my ass. All right, that's what I'm thinking. I'm fucking looking at it. I'm like, shit, man. iPhone 12 from 5 years ago. Shit, that could go in my butt. Why not, man? That's what'll happen when the paramedics bust in here after I've had cardiac arrest. They'll be like, yo, what's vibrating, man? What's got that? What's playing the Flappy Birds theme tune? What, Jesus Christ, he's rammed an iPhone 12 up his butt. Plus, he rammed an iPhone 12 Plus up his butt. But I'd never do that, I don't think. I've never put anything up my butt. So if I do kill myself, right, and shits up my ass, just know for a fact, right, this is going out to you, James. Yeah, James and Ryan. Going out Delusional and Jimbo, right? I'm not gay, all right? So don't let anyone say that I'm gay because I'm not. All right? Right, what other sexual shit am I going to say, man? Look at this. Look at that sweet transition shit, boys. Let's go, let's go. Right. So what is funny about this? Right? Well, what video is it? Let me just play it first, actually. So we've got chanting. What is this? What is this? What everyone's wondering, bloody hell, what is this? What is this? Well, it looks like a Manchester United fan. Being a little trouble causer, right? He's what they're accusing this guy of is mocking tragedies, which you're not allowed to do anymore, apparently. Right? You're not allowed to mock dead people, which I always thought was kind of a right that we were all bestowed upon us by God, that we could mock dead people. That kind of what made us human, really. But that's not the case because this guy's probably going to get a jail. He's lost his friends, his family, and he's never been able to go to a football match ever again. But it's actually so funny, this video. It truly made me laugh because he could be doing anything, this guy, and he's like. It's just crazy. Well, this is what happens at these football matches. Two football teams get together, right, and they both get arrested for mocking each other team's tragedies, whether it's like the Hillsborough disaster or a plane getting shot down, or not shot down, or crashing or whatever. And they all get outraged. They're like, "Oh, can you believe what they were chanting?" And they'll do the same thing if they start losing. So it's just ridiculous how what this country's became. But imagine, he looks like he's playing charades or something. Can you imagine this guy comes around at your birthday party and you're like, all right, okay, clapping, celebrate, wank, all right, no, come on your face, wank, all right, oh tits on your face. It's I don't even know what to say. It's look at everyone as well, like all they're all just like dispersing like it's a fucking bull running through some Spanish town. But it is what all the gammons like to say, it is PC gone mad, ladies and gentlemen. But people do actually think that this guy should be in jail for doing something like this. I will die on this hill. I don't think he should be. He looks like a mime, like there's some sort of Middle Ages thing. Like, look at him. This should just be simple. We should just put him in stocks and let people throw tangerines at him or something. But no, he'll just lose his job and happy on the street and it'll all be good. Ah, I think that might be it, ladies and gentlemen. A pretty lame little thing,